Just being honest. Nothing but the truth, yeah. Nothing but the truth, yeah. Honesty, CJ, honesty. CJ, honesty. CJ, honesty. Just being honest. Nothing but the truth.
Welcome to another episode of
CJ Honesty. And it's Happy December.
Happy December.
This is my favorite time of the year. My favorite month.
Christmas.
Yes.
And it's somebody's birthday, the 28th. Christina.
Yes, my birthday's on December 28th. And I am not going to tell you how old I am.
What?
Nope.
Most women don't tell their age.
Never telling.
Okay.
I like to keep people guessing. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because I don't look like my age.
So, Christina, what are we talking about on this episode?
Well, on this episode, we are going to talk about. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
The difference between love and being in love.
The
I
difference
love
between
love.
loving and being in love.
Don't you love love, though?
I do.
Are
Love
you
is
a
good
lover
thing. Yeah. That's
or a
right.
fighter?
Oh, man, I used to be a fighter.
Ooh, like
I'm
what?
a lover now.
I don't
I
mind
got
you
saved
being
and I became
protector, though.
Yeah. I try not to fight no more. That's not who I am.
Yes, he's a changed man.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into this. We're going to get right into this, guys. So,
So she is checking that phone.
yes, I posted the question on all of our social medias accounts, and I'm going to read some of our followers' responses.
Responses to
The question.
the question.
So, what is the difference between love and being in love? All right, so the first answer is love is general and love is direct. So I think based on that answer, the person mean that love is general, so it means that you can love everything. Like it doesn't matter what it is. It's not anything like specific.
Yeah.
But in love is direct, so you putting the focus on that one thing or person. So in this case, it will be a person. So you putting all your focus and like attention to that person. That's all that you think about versus like in general.
I think that in general, and it being direct, generally, you can have like if I play basketball, and I can generally just like playing basketball. Somebody say, hey, come play basketball. Okay, I'm there. Where if I was in love with playing basketball, I would dedicate myself to it. I would be there all the time practicing it, learning the different kinds of shots and the different kind of dribbles and the names of those different shots and dribbles. And I would be, that would be my craft. That would be my everything. Whereas if I just love it, I just like doing that,
Yeah, you just enjoy it, but you're not.
I wouldn't be devastated if I,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
So the next answer I received was love is being happy around them. Being in love means you can't not be around them. So the first part, love is being happy around them. I believe that means that person meant that it's temporary. You can love, like if you're around someone, they just make you happy. That's all. It's temporary. It's a feeling, so it's temporary. So let's say if they did something that you didn't approve and it got you upset, then you'll become upset. Your emotion would be replaced with another emotion. And but being in love means like you want to be around that person all the time. You want to be want them in your company.
Right.
At like all the time. You won't get tired of them. Even through like the arguments and fights.
Right.
It's everlasting.
Yeah. So read that to me again, what they said.
Okay.
I want to hear it again.
Love is being happy around them.
Mm-hmm.
Being in love means you can't not be around them.
So you're just happy around the person, but you being in love is like you just feel like you just need to be around the person.
Yeah.
Or if you're just happy with the person, you're just in love. You just love the person. Then if something bad happens, then if you get in an argument or a disagreement, you pretty much separate yourself.
Yeah.
But when you're in love with the person, you stick it out or you talk it out. I think that's what they meant by that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. But I also feel like, I also feel like that, like being in love can, the other person, depending on if you don't know their love language, which can be a whole nother episode on that. Yeah. That person can receive that as being clingy, right? Or how about obsession?
Yeah, some people see it as that too. A lot of people's definition is different nowadays, especially with love, especially people our age. I just turned 28. You're still 28. You're about to be 20.
What?
Something.
Excuse you.
Excuse me. 20 something. I don't
20.
know.
I thought, yeah, we already.
Yeah.
Just say this is a secret.
This is a secret. She's gonna be 20 something.
20 something and holding. Yeah.
But yeah, people who are in a certain age group, they pretty much think the same way about love. A lot of them don't even want to be in love or don't know what love is because to want to be in love.
They haven't been loved by their parents. Ooh. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not going to get into that, though.
Yeah. And then a lot of people say that, oh, well, instead of just loving somebody, just meet my requirements.
Yeah.
Be this tall. Have this much money, you got to look like this,
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. I have nothing to add to that.
Yeah.
That I could think of. But here's the next answer.
Okay.
Which is, bear with me because this one's a longer one.
Yeah.
All right. So it says, love is forever and most permanent. You can never unlove someone. You can only love them differently. Being in love entails a sense of endowment, and it is environmentally, emotionally charged. If circumstances change, so will your endowment. That's where the loving them definitely comes into play. Often couples rekindle because the endowment has faded. Love is constant despite our constantly changing environment. So that pretty much relates to what we were saying, like previously.
As far as being happy.
Yeah, like love is temporary, and then being in love is everlasting.
Yeah,
and it doesn't, like with being in love, it doesn't matter what environment you're in or what did she say? Oh, okay, like what environment you're in, or like if like emotionally, like what emotion you have is you're still gonna have that love for that person. Still gonna be in love with them. Right. It's not, you're not gonna fall out of love, which can happen. Like a lot of people fall out of love.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like for those, I think that happens for those who've been in long term marriages, like long.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things where people who get married get in trouble too.
Yeah. Because
they base it off of a feeling. Whereas I think that's when you love somebody, but being in love is when you can go through anything and still, work it out or talk it out. Just like I don't agree what happened in the situation, but with Jada and Will.
Oh, yeah.
I think that Will is really in love, not just he doesn't just love her, but he's in love with Jada. For him to go through that and still say, okay,
wow.
let's work it out.
I didn't think about
let's
that.
talk about it. You know, whereas if he just loved her, he would have probably just left because he would have felt like that feeling of love was gone. Whereas when you're in love with the person, when you're in love, you love the good and the bad. And that's not saying that you should take somebody cheating on you. I'm not saying that.
Wait, I have a question about that. Like, since let's get back to Jada and Will Smith's situation from that whole entanglement situation with August Alsina. So what Jada did, do you think she's in love with Will Smith based on her action she did or took? Because
everybody got their own personal opinion.
What's your personal opinion?
My personal opinion is if you are in love with somebody, being in love with them won't allow you to do that. But if you can love the person and do that because you love them, you know, you just love the feeling of being around them. You love what they can do for you. You love how they make you feel.
Yeah.
But being in love with the person, you love that person, who they are, the good and the bad. So I don't think, in my personal opinion, that she was in love with him because she would have thought
at the
about
time?
Yeah.
Or how about in like now?
Well, again, being in love, like the other person said in their answer, being in love never ends. It's endless. Whereas loving somebody can end based off of something that can happen.
Yeah. And you know what? I just thought about something. I was told by a guy that I was dealing with at the time that he mentioned that that if you don't go through like all the ugly stuff, like if you don't accept how that person is, that means you don't love that person, or you're not, you basically you have to deal with the BS
right
when you love someone. But I don't think you should put yourself through that. I didn't agree with that. What do you think?
I think when you say deal with something, you have to know what level are we talking about dealing with something, because it's two different kind of things, in my opinion. When you say deal with it, that's two different kind of deal with it. So deal with it like, okay, this person is having a bad day, or this person is just lost their job, so they're not making no money, so they can't help you out. Deal with it like so they something just happened where they lost a family member, and 5-6 months later they're still not over it, so now they're still projecting that that bad energy on you. Dealing with something as in they've been through something in their past, and you have to love them through it. So, but the other part that things that you shouldn't be dealing with is somebody hitting you, somebody abusing you.
Yeah.
So when you say deal with it, what are you talking? What do you mean when you say deal with it? What level of dealing with something are you talking? Are you talking about compromise? When you say dealing with something, are you saying compromise, or when you say deal with it in a toxic way where somebody just wants to control you?
It's more like
toxic. So there's a dealing with somebody where somebody's controlling you, and there's a dealing with somebody where you just have to work with some bad things about them that just needs to be worked on.
Okay, wow, that was a good answer.
Yeah,
that was very well thought out.
Yeah.
I didn't. Wow. Yeah, just learned something.
Yeah, so
I didn't never thought about the definite, like, what do you mean by dealing with what? Like,
I think that's important when people are dating. When they say what do you have to deal with? I think you should deal with things. There are things, because you're not gonna get anybody perfect, and I got a story for that too. But you're not gonna get anybody perfect. You're gonna have to deal with something.
Yeah.
But there's different levels of dealing with stuff.
It makes both of you like grow.
Yeah, you can. That's the other thing. Some people have been so wounded in the past where they just don't want to deal with anything at all. They say, oh well, if you're still hurt, about this or that, don't come to me. I want somebody who's totally this or that.
They must be
and
a
now
delusional person.
So you might as well wait until you're about 40 years old to date somebody, because or 40 or maybe 30 something years old, because it takes people a while, especially if they've been wounded in their childhood, to heal from things. Now that doesn't not, again, so it depends on what level of dealing with something are you going to deal with. So it's one thing to deal with somebody who just needs to better themselves in areas that they can be, you know, easily dealt with, over time. But then it's another thing where you're dealing with something where they're abusing you, So
That's okay. That's a good one. That's very good.
Do we have another one?
Yeah, we have one more. We need to unpack this one.
The answer to love and being in love.
Yes. All right. So, this person said, love for one thing is a fleeting emotion or intense feeling which can change in a moment. You and the one you love can have a really stupid disagreement. Bam, you end the relationship and your love is done over. Being in love will overlook all the shortcomings of each other and stays through the fight. So like we just talked about, that, love is just temporary, and then being in love is everlasting. You get, despite the trials and tribulations. And okay, so a common answer people give when asked why they love someone is because of how they make me feel. That's a valid answer, but if it's all about how you feel, then you probably aren't actually in love. Loving someone means you are only concerned with how he makes you feel loved, special, or appreciated. Being in love means you worry about how to make him feel, well, in this case, him or her. Because the person was talking about if you're a woman in love with a guy.
Right.
But if it could be him or her, how to make him or her feel loved as well, because that's equally as important to you.
Right.
Love is a wonderful high, but can crash and burn in a moment, whereas being in love is everlasting. So yeah, it's basically like loving someone means you are only concerned with how he or she makes you feel. Right. So that's temporary.
So that goes back, that's kind of like what I just said with the Jada and Will Smith thing, where if you pay attention to what she said that Will, she wasn't feeling a certain kind of way anymore. And that, so she, they was that. So she was having some problems. So now because you feel like you're having problems, now because you don't have the bubbly feeling in your stomach when you see him, now because you're arguing, butterflies. Now you want to go over here and have the, quote unquote entanglement.
Yeah.
And as opposed to Will Smith, I think that's a perfect example of loving somebody and being in love. I think she loved Will, but she wasn't in love.
So you think that's her current, how she feels about Will Smith now? In your opinion?
I don't know her personally, so I can't say what's going on now in their house.
But at the time,
I know that from what she said.
At that time,
during
that time, that's probably
yeah.
I definitely agree with that. So there's more to the answer. It says love is a wonderful high, but can crash and burn in a moment, whereas being in love is everlasting. God not only loves us, but He is in love with us. To put up with constant disobedience to His word, and He still wants the best for us, forgives us, and wants us to be saved. And looking past all our faults is showing more concerned about us than He is Himself. So I say thank you, God, for not just loving me, but being in love with me.
Wow.
That's really good. That's deep. There, because she got real deep. She started talking about, but it's true that God, when you look at it in a spiritual perspective, that God, despite our wrongs and our sin, that He still loves us, but He's in love with us because He protects us. if you ever wonder why something's not happening for you, it's because probably God is protecting you against it. I'm preaching right now.
Look at you preaching.
I got a little, I don't know.
She letting something out.
That's a gem right there. You always wonder, like, when things aren't going your way. That could be a possibility. You never know. God blocking something that's not good for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, as soon as you read that comment about what she said, I thought about that scripture, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son.
Yeah. So that makes me think. The question. This is a popular question. Like, would you take a bullet for someone? You know, like that you think you're in love with? Would you do that? That's sacrificing yourself. And I also feel like I think that being in love is sacrificial. Is that a word? Sacrificial.
I think, what's another word for it?
You sacrificing.
You're being vulnerable.
But you also sacrificing something. That's being in love to me. Yeah. You're not being selfish.
Yeah, you're being unselfish. You're thinking about the person. Sometimes you're putting the other person's wants before yours.
Yeah, at times,
At times, you know.
Which I have my opinions on that. Like, it can be good and bad because...
Well, yeah, again, that goes with how deep, like what we were saying with what do you want to deal with? There are levels to things. As far as, you know, putting somebody's wants before you, there's levels to that as well. There's a healthy thing that you should be at some points putting somebody's wants before you, because that's just what love is. Yeah. But not to the point to where it's controlling.
Oh yeah, no,
You know, so you should. That's what a relationship is. You do sacrifice for the person. That's on one hand, but on the other hand, it shouldn't be to the point where, you know, it's all about them and they never do anything for you. Yeah.
That's real good. So when it comes to, let's get into more about. Oh wait, you have an answer. Don't you have an answer?
I got one from somebody. Yeah. So he said that being in love is like you're crazy for that person over heels. Just loving someone is, well, I got to read that over there. Just loving someone is somebody that you won't be willing to fight for.
So just loving someone,
you're not gonna stick it out basically with them. Basically, he's saying basically what everybody else is saying is that you're not gonna basically stick it out with that person. You know, if you just love the person, you know, it's a feeling. But if you in love with them, you can stick in there and work it out. Everything.
I can honestly say that I never been in love. I thought I was in love with maybe one person that I was with, but other than that, no. Because the reason why I'm saying that, because at the time, I hurt some people, and I think based on what I've done, the actions I took and stuff, or what I did, that wasn't love. You know, I always equate love.
Or it wasn't being in love.
Or being in love, yes, being in love. I had just love for the people.
Love for the person. Like being around the person, but you didn't love.
In love.
And you didn't,
Yeah, so, and, I just lost my thought.
So. Didn't do right by somebody.
Yeah, I didn't do right by somebody, but, you know, and you have to reflect on yourself. You know, I know that since the things I did to other people, it wasn't right. I had to be like, okay, what type of lover am I? Yeah. What is my definition of love? You know, I started thinking that
self evaluation, which most people
don't
do nowadays. Yeah. Like I would say, even when in my past where I had somebody do me wrong, I looked at not just them. I looked at myself. I said, what can I do? What could I have done better in the relationship? Which I know most people wouldn't do that in that situation. Not bragging on myself. I'm just saying.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. I was able to self reflect on myself and say, is there something about me that could have changed or been better?
Well, that's a good thing because usually people point their fingers to the other person.
Yeah.
And I realized I used to do that, but now I'm working on reflecting on myself and how I react to things or how I respond.
Yeah.
Be like, and I just be like, okay, so Christina, what made you say that? Or, what can I do better? So I think it's something that you need to work on doing. Like, it's not going to just happen right away. Yeah. It's all about changing your mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good skill to have.
Yeah. I agree with that. So how would you say, do you have, actually, you know what? I just thought about another thing that just came to my mind about this video that went viral on, I don't get on there, but I think it was I seen it was on World Star. I seen it on Facebook, but it was through World Star. I don't get on World Star, but sometimes I scroll through Facebook and somebody posted something where this man, dating advice.
He's expert, the one with the suit on.
The one with the black man with glasses.
He has a podcast.
Has a fade. Got a podcast. He wears suits all the time.
Yeah.
Forgot his name, but he had not a young lady, but a lady on there, and they was having a dispute. She came on there, his show, asking him a question because he's some kind of dating guru or whatever.
Yeah.
So she was saying her requirements for a man, and he said, "Okay, your requirements are you want a man that makes $100,000 a year. He has to be over 6 feet. Has to have a 6-pack, square jawline. No kids."
No, wait. Come again? No kids?
No kids.
And how old is she?
She's 35.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. At that age, most people have kids.
Yeah.
Like
so. This isn't the end of this story. So, just like you said, most people at that age have kids. She has 3 kids. Apparently, from what she said, the baby dad is not in his right mind, so he's willing to do anything at any time. And she makes $60,000 herself, and she has a pet. Yeah, she's only been making $60,000 for the past 3 years. So she just started making $60,000.
So she's a business owner.
Yeah, okay. So she has some kind of pet company, a pet grooming company. Excuse me. So, yeah, and when he asked her on a scale of 1 to 10, and not being able to choose the number 7, where would you rate your face? And she said, "Oh, I'm a 5, and with makeup, I'm a 6." And he said, "Okay, so are you saying that a 5 is average?" She said, "Yes." And he said, "Okay, so men that are in the financial bracket that you are talking about is not going to choose a woman who is an average woman."
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that because actually, but I've seen like nice looking women with like, let's say rappers or something who are with them that's not really all that good looking to me.
Well, you mean when the rapper isn't that good looking?
Yeah. Or like.
But no, we're talking about the woman.
The woman. Okay, so yeah.
Unless
most of the time the woman
like
would
he
look
said,
good.
He said the only time you would see that happen, a rich man, 6 foot tall,
like
6-pack. Yeah. Only time you would see him with an average looking woman is if that woman was already there when he didn't have anything, and he just built himself up basically. But other than that, you don't really see a man of that stature on that level being with an average person,
because they want to show off whoever they're with. That's their
another thing he said,
arm candy. So
definitely. And then the other thing he said was that average people get average people.
And I don't know about that. Maybe. You think so? I mean, but like, have you seen men?
I've seen
with nice looking women,
average looking men with nice looking women,
but not nice.
But I've never seen
unattractive, not like an average,
an attractive male being with No,
I have.
Just have you?
It's not common, but it is out there.
Okay, but it's not common though. Okay.
I can't think of anybody who would fit that. I'm trying to think. Like someone who's nice looking.
But like he said, if you can, then they probably was already together before the man started making any kind of financials.
I was gonna say T.I. and Tiny.
Oh wow!
Sorry, I was talking about them,
but again, though, even in that
I love Tiny
situation,
cool, but
they met in high school, I believe.
Oh man, okay, so that's a bad example.
Again, that's what he was saying. The only time you see that is when that woman was with that man before he got to that point.
I can't really think from the top of my head who I can think to fit this. Can you?
I don't know any.
No, I'm going through my mind of like celebrities I know and.
No.
Yeah, no, wow.
So I mean, average people are with. I mean, what's bad about that?
No, it's nothing. Actually, it's nothing bad. If you want someone who has a 6-pack and go, I believe go after what you want, because if you don't, then
go after what you want. But at the same time, I think it's unrealistic to ask for something that you aren't doing yourself. Or what do you think?
Oh well, some standards that women set, they're a little unrealistic.
And I will say to the woman, you see a lot of them say, "Oh, I'm not gonna lower my standards," and I would say, "Yeah, don't lower your standards."
What standards are you lowering?
But
though?
what standards? Yeah, what standards are you talking about? Because there's standards where you're talking about. How tall is he? How much money does he make?
Yeah.
Those are superficial, really, to be honest. I'm not saying he should be broke and living with his mom and all that, but I am saying that the superficial thing, as long as he's able to have a roof over his head, other than that, anything higher, if you're looking for anything higher than that, you're being superficial, in my opinion, after that. As long as he's able to put food on the table and clothes on children's back, if you want children, I don't see what else you're looking for. At that point, you just want somebody who can spoil you, basically.
You just want the materials.
Yeah, which can always come if you work hard enough, though. But the other part where you do need standards is where, like we just said, you want to make sure if you get pregnant and you go on maternity leave, he can still pay the bills. You want to make sure he respects you as a woman. You want to make sure he respects your opinion and that he treats you right.
Those are all good standards.
Those are good, really, really good standards. Don't lower those standards. But the standards that some of these ladies out here be talking about, where you want somebody to make $100,000 a year, he got to be over 6 feet tall.
You basically want a basketball player.
Yeah, you want say a basketball player, because any average guy is not walking around 6'2",
with 100,000
K. With a 6-pack and a nice car and all that.
Actually, some of them might be. They just don't show it.
Yeah, that too. Because
I just thought about that. Some do, but they just don't show it.
And then the other thing is that, okay, if you're asking for a man who's like that, like the guy said on the show, you're an average person asking to be with somebody who's not average.
Yeah, that's not average.
Yeah, that's not an average person.
The salary that most people make, what's the average salary?
40,000.
Yeah, 40,000. Yeah,
for the average American
40,000
makes 40,000.
That's true.
So you're asking for somebody who makes 100,000. Some women. We're not generalizing on this show.
Yeah,
we're just talking about the ones who, have standards that talk about you wanting to make 100,000 a year. And particularly this one that was on this guy's show. And that's what he was explaining to the woman. So even if she said she was making 60,000 a year, right? So okay, you got 60,000 a year. You want this man to make 100,000 a year. That's 40,000 more dollars than what you make.
Yep.
40,000 more dollars than what you make. You don't want him to have kids.
That part, wait, stop right there. That part right there that's the unrealistic part for me. Because that's not going to happen. They probably going to most likely have at least one child, one kid.
At 35.
Yeah, at 35.
Especially if they're not saved. Like, come on now.
It's
saved folks got that.
Saved. Well, you got saved folks who have kids too.
Yeah.
But in general,
that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, in general, like even if they are saved, they may have kids.
Yeah.
Saved or
married or unmarried.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Saved or unsaved doesn't, But but yeah, that part she should just went out. I would have kicked her out.
He kicked her off. He kicked her off the
what
show.
is she talking about?
Bye. He said
Bye,
that she
Felicia.
wasn't listening. Basically, he was like, "Well, ma'am, average people get with average people," and she didn't want to take that.
That's the truth, though.
Yeah, but it's the truth.
But
most
she didn't
people
want to hear it.
You end up being with the person who is on your level or beneath. Most people don't get somebody who is above,
Unless they have connections.
Unless you just have connections, or unless you're on your way to being on that level, then you're around
people because you're around the same people. Like who has that?
Like if you're a nurse and you end up being with a surgeon.
A doctor or something,
then you're just ended up you was around this person. But for you to just bump into somebody, this magical rare person, or somebody who is not an average Joe, not saying that you shouldn't want that person. Now if you're on that level, then by all means be on that level. But if you're not going to the gym every day,
why you expect that person?
Now you want but you want somebody that got a six pack.
Yeah, does she work out?
Yeah,
that's the.
I don't know.
Do you work out?
Right.
Do you have kids? Yeah. No, I don't work. Well.
Right.
Then you want really? She got to do better. She got to come with her A game if she wants someone like that.
Yeah.
And she says she's a 6 in the face. No, a 5.
She says she's a 5 without makeup. She said that about herself. So
that kind of messed up because she.
I feel bad for her.
Actually, when I think about it, that's kind of messed up. She lowering her. It sounds like she has low self-esteem.
It does. Yeah.
So what? 5? I'm gonna say I'm a 10.
It almost sounds
I'm
like
a 10. No, but like
almost sounds like she wants somebody to lift her up.
I feel like it's nothing wrong to think about. I mean, to know you're good looking.
Nothing wrong
but
with
not
that.
to boast about it. Not to boast. Be humble.
It's a difference between being confident and being cocky.
But just be humble.
Yeah,
about it.
Humble.
But you look good at the same time. It's a balance, guys.
You can look at yourself in the mirror and say that you're an attractive person, but I wouldn't go outside of your doors acting like you're, everything.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Be humble once you walk outside the door, but also don't, it's a balance to it. Don't let anybody down talk you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're humble enough to where when you do get a compliment, you're humble.
Oh, that's another thing. We talking about love and stuff. It's true love starts with yourself. Self-love. I'm big on that. Self-love, self-care.
Yeah.
And in order to love someone else, you have to love yourself.
Yeah.
That's that's a popular saying too, and I agree with that. That
I agree with that.
And she needs to love herself.
Yeah. She needs to focus on loving herself.
Yeah, because she feels that way. She's not gonna get someone like that, unfortunately. Yeah. And if she does, they just probably using her. I don't know for what, but
a lot of
I probably do know the intimate part, probably just for that.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. You know,
and I hope she find true love though. For real, I feel bad when you talk about it. I'm like, people probably was laughing and talking about her. In the comments, but I feel bad for her, man.
I seen some of those comments people was making. People was laughing.
I know, like,
and then some of the ladies was offended because they felt the same as her because they want somebody that they want somebody on that level.
I mean, there's nothing wrong, but
nothing wrong with
that.
There's nothing wrong with wanting nobody on that level. Not at all. Not at all. But just make sure that you can bring something to that table so that you don't put yourself in a position that if somebody on that level does so happen to choose you, they can't hold their achievements over your head. Make sure you bring your own things to the table so that they don't, be like, oh, that you're nothing without them, basically.
Yeah.
I think somebody would truly have to make sure that person, especially if they're making $40,000 more than you, make sure that person truly loves you, or in this case, in love with you.
In love, that's the key word. In love.
In love, not just loving you, because if they just love you, they just like being around you. They like your conversation. They like, people say today, the vibe that you give them.
They like the crustiness on the side of your lip. Of your mouth.
That's being in love.
And you still kiss them. Yeah. Yeah. That's being in love. That's true love. Yeah. Or kissing someone with bad breath.
Yeah.
Right? Do you consider that being in love? Kiss someone with bad breath?
I would guess so.
Like morning breath?
I would guess so.
I've been told one time. I've been told that by a guy that he wouldn't kiss someone with bad breath. Or morning breath. He would have to the woman would have to brush her teeth, and then they can kiss. What do you think about that? I was like,
well, I think that's a. I don't know. I think that's getting into people that have their own personal little OCD preferences and stuff. Yeah.
I think it's true love when you can kiss them with morning breath.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. I don't really have an opinion on that.
I don't know. I always thought that
before. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's just a preference with people.
Yeah.
You can. I think you can be in love, and that person might still not want to.
Oh, it's kiss you with bad.
They got some kind of phobia or something.
Yeah.
I heard of some couples that don't even kiss.
What, they don't because they don't like PDA, right?
They don't. No. Oh. I heard some people don't like the idea of somebody else's mouth touching their mouth.
What, are they afraid?
That's what I heard. Yeah,
I never heard that. What?
Yeah, I heard that before. It's
a fear of kissing.
Yeah, because fear
a phobia of kissing.
A phobia because you don't know where that.
That makes me want to look it up now.
Yeah.
Wow, I need to look that up more because I never knew that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love kissing? I mean, I love kissing. I love kissing you. But I just think the people and nowadays don't know how to love, and they need some guidance.
Yeah. A lot of guidance that needs to come, but we do. We want you guys to definitely leave some comments, and comment, subscribe on YouTube, and then comment on our Instagram page and comment on YouTube, and definitely let us know. Do you think there's a difference between loving somebody and being in love?
Yes.
And if there's a difference, how do you define love and how do you define being in love? And guys, be looking out for our next couple of episodes, we've got some really good guests, special guests coming on this next couple of episodes. Some real professionals in their field that will give us a lot of good information.
I am looking forward to that.
Definitely looking forward to that. They're probably, we'll give you a little clue on the next couple episodes what we're going to be talking about with one of the guests. It's just a clue, little word. It's not the whole topic of what we'll be talking about, but I'll give you a little word. Clothes.
Ooh,
clothes.
I love clothes. I love
but
clothes.
What about clothes are
What
we
about
talking
clothes?
about? We'll be talking about with a professional about clothes, but it's not just any clothes. What can we be talking about? What could CJ Honesty be talking about clothes?
And this is actually not next week. It's the week.
Well, yeah, I told them.
Okay.
They don't know what week it is, but I said next couple of weeks.
Next couple. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that part. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got them.
Got you. I got you.
All right. I got them.
So this has been another episode of
CJ Honesty. Peace.
See you next time. Bye. Peace.
CJ Honesty. Just being honest, nothing but the truth.